Alright guys, this is inaccurate. Fuck dude, like, I just made a video about how I didn't like Melania because of her fucking mechanics, and now I'm like making another video about why I don't like Tokyo Revengers. It's not exactly that I have to make this video, but I really want to make this video. I'm not going to be separating this into like bad points and good points, to be honest, because all I see are bad points. I'll just go through it and let you guys kind of see what I kind of thought about it. From the very beginning, Tokyo Revengers, it kind of sounds like a baseball anime title, so I kind of thought it was about baseball. When I looked more into it, oh no, it has a regular version, it has an uncensored version, it has a dub version. I was like, oh, uncensored version, there's going to be some nudity in it. First comment, no nudity. Degenerate me is very sad. First episode, guy's a fucking degenerate in life. You know, he keeps trash in his room, keeps a lot of trash in his room, and he finds out that his ex-girlfriend and his ex-girlfriend's brother died in a planned crime accident. You know, he mopes around town, and then he eventually gets pushed onto the train tracks, and then he kind of dies. But he also gets sent back to the past, which he finds out that he actually has time traveling powers. Pretty cool, right? Time traveling powers. So then he uses these time traveling powers to prevent things that happened in his past that he didn't like. So I was like, oh, hey, pretty good, right? You know, like, he's a fucking degenerate, you know, make his life better. And then it starts progressing pretty well, right? Like, he faces his old, like, middle school bully, and then, you know, he's not strong physically, so he gets his ass beat a lot, which is completely fine. And like, they introduce a bunch of characters, you know, there's Mikey, the head of the gang, and there's Draken, who's like the second in command. He's really cool as well. A lot of the characters are super fleshed out. There's a lot of different types of characters, you know. I like the way they kind of interact with each other is very, you know, kind of like chill and like very like friendly in a way. Yeah, even though they pretty much curse at each other at like every single corner. And then it just kind of switches up. Like around episode 8, you kind of start noticing that this is not really an anime about time travel. This is not an anime about time travel and a guy trying to prevent his ex-girlfriend's death. It's an anime about high school delinquent drama. Even though it's not high school, they're in middle school for some reason. I mean, like, what the hell? So then it's kind of like a bait and switch if you think about it. So as it kind of progresses, I think I said around like episode 8, you start notice he starts regressing. At that point, that was a big red flag for me. I was like, oh shit, that's not good in terms of the story plot. He starts regressing because he's scared of other people. And then, you know how I said, like, he goes back in time to go prevent his past mistakes, you know? So he goes back in time to also go save people. And one of the people he needs to save is this dude from the gang. So the dude from the gang, he dies, and then Mikey, the leader of the gang, changes for like the worst. So it's his job to go back in time and save him, you know, to not get killed. So then both of them could just be friends. So let's see what he did. He found him, which is great, and then a big fight ensues. Apparently he loses sight of him, so it's like, it's not even a good reason. So then what happens is he gets stabbed and he starts bleeding out heavily. I remember a comment of the episode that happened in, and it was like, you lost the tallest guy that was in that fight somehow, and then he ended up getting stabbed. Like, he had one fucking job and he failed at that. But then, you know, all that stuff, because it's anime, like, he lives in the end, which is completely fine. And then when he kind of like goes back to the present, you know, like, his friend Naoto, you know, his ex-girlfriend's brother, helps him out a lot, kind of gives him a bunch of like gang details, like, of stuff he can prevent, so that, you know, he can, you know, save his girlfriend, which is completely fine. So he finds out like Kisaki is like the main enemy, like the main antagonist. So you know what he fucking does? Like, he goes back in time, the main character goes up to him and punches him. That's it. He punches him. There was no plan whatsoever. He got very emotional, and he pretty much revealed himself to be an enemy of Kisaki. I was just like, wow, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is like hard regression, right? And then skip forward to episode 18. Another big fight ensues, right? He went back in time to save another person from getting killed, because 2 people actually died. The first guy, like, he doesn't know how he dies, but he knows that he dies somehow. So you know what he does? he grabs onto that guy and makes sure that he doesn't like die somehow, except he gets stabbed in the back because he was holding him down. I was just like, oh god, you dumb motherfucker. And Lord and behold, he fucking dies. Now the second person who dies doesn't actually die, because the second person is the one who stabbed the first person. So the second person is batshit crazy, right? He blames everybody but himself. But this is the second time where he's killed another person. So the main character makes a big old speech, and then the second guy turns from crazy to not crazy. You know, just a good, grandiose, emotional speech, and he goes completely sane. Fantastic, right? He just ends up going to juvie, and then that's about it. See, the funny thing is, like, when that fight began, he did the exact same fucking thing he did in the first fight. He completely lost sight of everything. There wasn't even really anything preventing him from going to look for people. Like, there was this one guy punching him, but then he eventually got away. Like, he just kind of stood there and watched things happen. You know, his goal is to prevent people from dying, especially his girlfriend, which he ends up forgetting, and everybody just ends up dying. He's completely fucking useless. He regresses hard, and it's just the dumbest shit. And then it kind of made me realize that as the story progressed, this is not a story about a guy going back in time to go save his girlfriend. This is a story about 6 friends who started a gang together. The main character is a side character. He gets sidelined extremely hard. Even by the end of the anime, like Kisaki, the main antagonist, he gets sidelined as well. So the main story just gets completely sidelined, right? You're pretty much watching memories. There's another anime that's very similar to this, Tenjo Tenge. Probably saying that wrong. So basically, this is an anime about like the main character. He's also a delinquent, but you know, all these people have fucking superpowers for some reason. The first 12 episodes, pretty fucking good. Progressed the story very well. And then, you know, the last 12 episodes was a big memory recap. It wasn't a memory recap about the first 12 episodes. It was a memory recap about things that happened before the anime. A prequel, you know? Great, right? Fucking great. Yeah, that's what I like to see. A main plot that doesn't progress and goes backwards somehow. So it's pretty similar in that regards. I was like, I'm at episode 18. I might as well finish it. Like, it's bad, but it's not that bad. So then it gets to episode 22, and then they have a flashback, right? So pretty much the guy's in the past, and then someone's having a flashback. So I remember this in American Dad. Like, Roger the alien, he was telling a story, and then a character in his story has a story, and then a character within that story has another story, and then it just kind of keeps repeating until everybody has like a fucking story to tell. And you're just like, okay, this has completely derailed the main plot. This has no bearing on anything. But the thing is, American Dad is like a fucking comedy, so it doesn't really matter. You're just there to enjoy the ride. This is not focused on the main plot at all. You're pretty much watching side arc memory stuff, or like prequel. Like, why even put time traveling in the first place? Why not just take the main character out, take the time traveling plot out, and just focus on like the 6 people who started the gang? You could make your way with a better story if you didn't focus on his ass. But I know the reason why you put the time traveling thing in the first place is to kind of draw people in. It's like, oh my god, this thing's about time traveling. Oh shit, he's gonna redo his past mistakes. I went off on a tangent, but episode 23 was a filler, and you might argue like, oh yeah, it's not a filler, you know, it was actually in the manga. Yeah, it's the second to last episode of the anime, and you're throwing in things that don't matter. And then episode 24, they go back to the present, and then the present changes, and then he gets stabbed in the knee. Or sorry, he gets shot in the knee. So basically something that turned out very well, kind of similar to like Steins Gate or like Erased, or I think it was another anime is like Occulting 9. Yeah, the anime with like the girl with the big old freaking anime titties. You thought it was gonna be like that. It was a bait and switch, and then you thought there was gonna be progress. There's just regression. You thought he was the main character. He was the side character. You thought he was the main antagonist, no, he gets sidelined. So like, here's what I kind of thought the anime was gonna be. He does everything to redo his past, you know. He's fucking saves his girlfriend, but his girlfriend keeps dying because Kisaki is also a fucking time traveler. You know, he's fucking going back in time because he knows someone's fucking with the timeline. Because everything he does makes it to what he wants the future to be. So you know, it's this battle between two fucking time travelers fucking each other over in like different situations. I thought that would have been pretty good, you know, like pretty good to watch. Now I haven't read the manga. I don't know what happens. Apparently he gets like super strong. But I was just like, in terms of an anime watcher, watching from episode 1 to episode 24 was complete shit. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I'm out. Bye.